Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Open Governance Initiative public launch. My name is Damilari Ololade, and I am one of the representatives of the Open Governance Initiative. If you join the Facebook Live video, you would understand that we had a live session and we were able to get someone from the NYDP to come speak at the public launch. But during the process of me checking the video after the live session, I realized the video wasn't good enough, and I really wanted people to rewatch the video especially people who weren't able to attend the public launch. I wanted them to watch the video so that they can catch up on what was discussed and also understand the mission of the Open Governance Initiative at large. That is one of the reasons why I'm doing this video. So this video will just serve as a recap to everything we discussed during the Open Governance Initiative public launch on the Facebook live video. All right, so like I said, my name is Damilari Ololade, and I am one of the Open Governance Initiative representatives. That means we have other people, but I'm just the one representing them now. In the course of this discussion, the title of my talk is What's Next After the EndSARS Protest, and I captioned it A Deep Dive into the Problems and Possible Solutions to Bad Governance a deep dive into the problems and possible solutions to bad governance in Nigeria. So, a quick recap of how the Open Governance Initiative started and what the Open Governance Initiative is all about. Firstly, the Open Governance Initiative is a community of citizens whose aim is to drive transparency and accountability in governance. And so, I'll be going through some things I wrote here just to give you a brief overview of what the Open Governance Initiative is all about. The first thing I'll be looking at is our story. So, the Open Governance Initiative was born out of the event of the EndSARS protest, where we witnessed Nigerians being killed during the EndSARS protest, especially at the Lekki protest ground, and it was a bloody scene. Yeah, it was something that we would forever live to remember. It's not something we're going to forget in a hurry. So this was the event that birthed the Open Governance Initiative, and our aim when we started this movement was to create a transparent system whereby whoever we are electing, we are electing the right people. In summary, moving forward, what the EndSARS protest did was to make us realize that we really need to fix politics. And as to serve as a quick recap, I'll be going through the three things I mentioned during the live broadcast as one of the three major takeaway we should all learn from as the result of the EndSARS protest. Number one is we can all work together to champion a cause. So one of the things we learned as a result of the EndSARS protest is that irrespective of our gender, irrespective of our religion, irrespective of our ethnicity, we can all come together and champion a cause, and we saw that happen during the EndSARS protest. Secondly, is that we really need to fix politics. If you could recall, the day where we were all waiting for the president to come and address the people, it was more like a shocker to us because at first he didn't even acknowledge the Lekki shootings, and it was just a depressing announcement, if I can use that word, because if you are on Twitter at that moment, you realize there were different conversations around people trying to move out of the country and thinking, oh, there's no more hope for this country. Imagine, see what the president is saying, and all that stuff. And number three is we need to educate the grassroots, because these are the people who are being used as political thugs and also hoodlums. If these people are being if these grassroots people are being educated, they won't be looting shops and be destroying government properties, because come to think of it, it's still the taxpayers' money the government will use to build these infrastructures that are being destroyed. All the buses, it's still your money. As like I always say, nobody inherited Nigeria from somebody. We all are equal shareholders of this country. So whether you destroy public goods or public properties, it's still the government's money, your our money that's still going to be utilized in building these buildings and whatsoever up. So if these people are educated enough, they shouldn't be doing things like that. So in summary, like I said, we need to work. We what the NSAS protest taught us was that we can work together to champion a cause. We need to fix politics, and number three, we need to educate the grassroots. So moving forward, I just want to be fast about this because we already had a live public launch, and this is just a recap of everything that was discussed for the people who missed it. So the title of my talk is "What's Next After the NSAS Protest," and I'll be giving the problems/solutions based on my perspective and also the perspective of the Open Governance Initiative. So, what are the problems and solutions to bad governance in Nigeria, you may ask? And to answer this question, I like to use the illustration of Madam Dr. Obi Ezekwesili. She created an ideology that for us to fix politics, hence governance in Nigeria, we need to fix three things, and she calls it the three pillars of democracy. At the top is the constitution, at the left-hand side is the political parties, and at the right-hand side are the electorates. That's you and I who are going to be voting during these elections. So I'm just going to be explaining the problem/the solution to these three parts, because according to our research, she said most of the first world countries where things are working, you will notice that the constitution works, the political parties are accountable, and the electorates know what they are doing. So moving forward, I'll just try to portray on that point. So the first section I'll be picking is the political parties, which I explained is at the left hand side of the three pillars of democracy triangle. So we all know the problems of the political parties in Nigeria: godfatherism, corruption, nepotism, favoritism, name it, and so on. And one of the major issues is that these political parties have no ideology. They are all the same. So that is why these politicians move from one party to another, because there are no ideologies, and that's what the NYDP is trying to counter, because the NYDP is a new political party that was formed as a result of the NSAS protest and is pushing forward transparency, accountability, and inclusion. So what's the solution to this problem of political parties? For the Open Governance Initiative, we believe creating a new political party is the way forward. I know some people have said, okay, let's infiltrate these other political parties, but there's no way these bad eggs in these other political parties won't affect the good ones who are trying to even make a change. And come to think of it, who will even give the ones that want to make a change the party tickets? So that's just the brief explanation about that. The solution to the political parties is that we need to come together and support an inclusive political party, and that is why we partnered with the NYDP, and they are really doing a great job in that area. I also like to mention that we are working on the One Nigeria app, which is going to serve as a hub for all the things that we're going to be doing in the NYDP and also in the Open Governance Initiative. And one of the things I would like to mention is the voting feature. So moving forward, whenever we are trying to elect executive for the NYDP, or maybe it's even party primaries, we're going to be using this app whereby people can vote online and also vote via USSD, especially for places where they don't really have internet connection. They can vote by sending *737 something hash, just like the way you do your payment, and maybe also sending votes a particular name to a number. So that's what we're trying to work on to solve this issue. Moving forward, the second part of the three pillars of democracy is the problem with the electorate. This, like I said, these people are poor, they lack education. That's why they are being manipulated by these people to do wrong things. And the solution to this is grassroots education. And we need to share flyers, inform them, one-on-one discussions, CDs, rallies, things that will engage these people and show them that to teach them of what the Open Governance Initiative is all about, and also what the NYDP is doing. And one of the solutions we are pushing for is the One Nigeria Week, which we are going to be hosting sometime in December. We are going to communicate the date to every one of you so that we can plan towards it. It's going to happen just like the protest, but in this case, it is not a protest. It's coming together of Nigerians to see how we can all work together, supporting the NYDP and the Open Governance Initiative to bring in a change to this country. So I'll just try to be fast with that. And the last one, like I mentioned, the constitution is at the top, the political parties at the left-hand side, and the electorate at the right-hand side. So now I'm taking the constitution. The problem with our constitution is corrupt. The problem with our constitution is that it's corrupt and it's non-inclusive. So the solution for that is to push towards a constitutional reform, and that can only happen when we get the right people into power. That is one of the reasons why we are pushing people to support the NYDP, so that you can elect senators and House of Representatives, and people who believe in accountability, people who believe in transparency and inclusion into power, so that they can take this to note when they are making the laws. And also another way we can work towards an constitutional reform is to challenge those who are already in the seat of power now, like clamoring for the 2023 early registration election was what made INEC say, okay, we are going to start registration next year, first quarter. So let's keep on pushing and using our voices more to reform our constitution, basically. And lastly, I would like, what I talked about was what next. So what I just want everybody to know, that now is a time of less talk and more actions. We have been talking right from the EndSARS protest, trying to deliberate and come up with ideas, and now is the time for actions. Less talk, more action. So what's next for us? We need you and everyone to support the Open Governance Initiative and also the NYDP, because we can't do this alone. There's strength in numbers, and we really need that numbers if we're going to remove these unqualified people we have accidentally, let me use that word, put into power. Secondly is that we need to build strategic partnership, especially for us at Open Governance Initiative and also NYDP. Like I said, we are open to partnerships. If you'd like to partner with the Open Governance Initiative, you can just reach out to us, send us a message, and we'll definitely take that up. So what's next from here? What next from here is that together with the NYDP, we are organizing a One Nigeria Week. So a One Nigeria Week will probably be a 3-day event sometime in December, where it's going to happen in different locations around the country, like I was explaining, just like the EndSARS protest. But in this case, we're trying to educate the grassroots on what Open Governance is all about and what NYDP is all about. Basically telling them that there's this new light, there's this new revolution that they need to be a part of. So, and we're going to be needing volunteers, we're going to be needing people who are going to be volunteering their skills, people who are going to be also donating financially to this, because there's nothing we can do without finances. So, did I put that right? Anyway, you understand what I'm trying to say, because we're going to be trying to get securities and also produce materials like flyers, CDs, and the rest. So the date for that event will be communicated duly to us and every other information that we're going to need. So I will try to buttress on this point one more time. What's next for us at Open Governance Initiative is to prepare for this One Nigeria Week. So many discussions have been happening online and on the way forward, and we understand because we're part of this internet generation, but we really need to reach out to these people who are offline, and that is the purpose of the One Nigeria Week. So it's going to probably be a 3-day event, and we'll communicate the details to everyone. So thank you very much for joining this. The next video you'll be watching is a presentation by Madam Saratu, who is one of the representatives of the NYDP, and she's going to be talking about what the partnership between Open Governance Initiative and NYDP is all about. So please listen to it, and also endeavor to support us, support the NYDP, support the Open Governance Initiative, and let's work together to move Nigeria forward. I believe, and I strongly believe, that Nigeria has what it takes to become a first world country. Like I always say, we have the talents, we have bright Nigerians, we have intelligent Nigerians, we have the land, we have the resources, we have everything. Just in a matter of years, we can overtake China, we can overtake the United States, and become one of the greatest countries of the world if and only if we fix our politics and we put in the work and we all come together in one accord and push this agenda. So thank you very much. The next video you're going to be watching is a presentation by Madam Saratu during the public launch that was held live some hours ago. Thank you.
So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the second phase of our discussion on the Open Governance Week. My name is Saratu, and I am representing the NYDP. Just as my colleague, Dami, has said, the Open Governance Week is an opportunity for the NYDP and the Open Governance Initiative to bring to young teeming Nigerians who have had many questions, lots and lots of questions on their mind on what is NYDP, what is open governance, and taking from his last discussion after the End SARS protest, what next? Sad to say that we, as youths, in Nigeria, have not been carried along well in the leadership of this country. And I would say it's an oversight by the government of the day, because for every government that wants to succeed, the first thing it has to understand is to identify its resources, especially its human resources. And Nigeria is sitting on a huge deposit of human resources. We have very talented youths, we have dedicated youths, we have youths who are willing to die for their fatherland. And unfortunately, because the government of the day is not all inclusive, sad to say, oftentimes youths are only involved when it comes to the dirtier part of politics, where our youths are, because there is hunger and a lot of youths are out of job, universities are churning out graduate, there's no job, there's nothing for these youths to fall back to. So it's very easy to lure these youths who are hungry, who need something to hold on to. You know, it's easy to lure them to become political thugs. And at the end of the day, when the politicians eventually get what they want, the youths are thrown by the wayside, and that is the end of the story. And it continues to be a vicious cycle. I would say I am a culprit, and I believe every other young Nigerian listening to me has also been a culprit. We've also always shied away from politics. We've always, oftentimes, I can remember the number of times I've had to go to the polling booths to vote, because over years I have realized that my votes do not count. Even if I vote, what the heck? So, and a lot of times electioneering processes are marred by violence, And I mean, who wants to die with this small life we have? So I am responsible, and I have held myself accountable to that, and that is why myself and a whole lot of other youths who, after the End SARS protest, saw the need to step in and to raise to the occasion. The Nigerian Youth Democratic Party was birthed as a result of the End SARS protest because Nigerian youths realized that you don't just fold your arms and sit down and complain about the government. You have to take active part in the government. And how do we do that? We need to first of all identify youths who are of the same mind and who would form a solidarity to change. There is a popular saying that says you have to be the change you want to see. And so the Nigerian youth have risen to that call and formed a political movement called the Nigerian Youth Democratic Party, which we are hopeful would eventually lead to a creation of a new political party with the sole aim of changing the narrative of our dear country. At 56, there are a lot of basic things that Nigeria cannot boast of. Our health systems are nothing to write home about. Our schools are in shambles. The average Nigerian youth would spend the next 10 to 15 years just to graduate a 4-year course. And that is really disheartening. With a lot of other things, lights is an issue, water is an issue, basic things that Nigerians need to enjoy. And at the detriment of the fact that we pay taxes. Nigerians pay taxes, and yet you cannot hold on to a particular thing and say, this is what my task has done. So just as my colleague from the Open Governance Initiative said, the NYDP is calling on all Nigerian youths to volunteer for this Herculean task. It is a very huge task. But yeah, it's doable. The first step towards achieving any success is taking the first step. And so we have taken the first step. And we're calling on all like-minded Nigerians to join this movement, to support in changing the narrative and ensuring that we get to that point where we have people elected in offices that we can talk to, that we can hold accountable. Our votes put them into the office, and we should be able to ask, what did you do with our money? What did you do? If we feel we're not being represented, we should be able to call them to order. This is a democratic government. It is not a military regime where you do not have freedom of speech. That is one thing we want to push. And I believe with the partnership with Open Governance Initiative, we would make this a reality. Now, a lot of persons would want to know, who are those at the helm of leadership of the Open Governance? Of NYDP, as my colleague from DAMI, from Open Governance Initiative said, they would be like a biodata bank where all information would be shared. But you are happy to follow us on our Twitter page, on our Instagram page, and on our Facebook page to get to know more about NYDP and what we stand for, and see where your skill would be needed. And please, please, please volunteer. If tomorrow the narrative change, you can count yourself as one of the pioneers of this change. That is for that. For the aspect of how we are partnering with Open Governance is a young, budding, non-governmental initiative, but we are keying into it because over the years we've realized that a lot of our polling units and our electioneering processes are marred by violence, and a lot of people are afraid to go to the polling booths to vote. And so we looked at, coupled with some of the challenges that COVID presented, to begin to look into e-voting, and that is something Open Governance is willing to pioneer with us as NYDP, and we are hopeful that all things being equal, we should be able to pull that off. This would allow people, both in the cities and in the rural areas, who do not have access to the internet, to be able to use the USSD code to vote for the candidate of their choices. And this allows for inclusion of every young Nigerian at every level. So it's not like a few Nigerians voted and other people's choices are not considered. We are calling for an all-inclusive kind of governance, and we believe that that is something that can be achieved. For funding, I know a lot of persons are wondering if we are getting funds from political godfathers and other sponsors. The truth is, just like the End SARS protest, Nigerian youths are tasking themselves because they believe in this dream. And we believe that for us to commit to this struggle, we have to commit our time, our effort, and if possible, our finances, because this is our dream and we have to make it happen. And so from my end, these are just about the few things that I can put out in the public around the Nigerian Youth Democratic Party. It's quite new, it's pretty new. The leadership at the moment are all volunteers, but hopefully we would be soon electing persons into leadership position who will take over from us and who would steer the ship and see us to the promised land. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you for creating time out of your very busy lives and very busy schedules. Today is Saturday. A lot of person probably has gone to vote and others have other things to do. I really appreciate the fact that you had to key in and listen to this very short broadcast. I would allow time for questions from the public. If there are questions, you can direct it to myself and other colleagues who are also online and would want to respond to these questions. So I would be handing over to the Open Governance Initiative host. Thank you very much once again, and hope to continue on this interaction. This is not going to be a one-off thing. We would continue to interact and make sure that the general public is as close to us, and we would listen to all your feedback and we would take it constructively and we would provide answers to questions that may arise as we go along. And so thank you very much for listening in and for tuning in. I would just hold on for a bit for questions and possibly clarifications. Thank you.